If you've ever felt picked on or discriminated against because you're low income, you might be right. I saw some really disturbing news this week coming out of Boston. Basically, a group of high school students went out and studied different stores in their area. They were looking at Stop and Shop locations, and they were comparing prices between Stop and Shops in a low-income neighborhood and Stop and Shops in a higher-income neighborhood. And what they found is that on average, the stores in the low-income neighborhoods had their prices set about 18% higher than the stores in the wealthier areas. They went and tried to talk to corporate about what they found, and they were told that nobody had time to meet with them. So local news provider WBZ-TV got involved, and they were given this absolute useless statement. Basically, Stop and Shop said, and I quote, "We are aware of that, and unfortunately we can't provide much of a comment there, but I do want to say how proud we are of our commitment to this community and what we do to nourish the neighborhood," which is basically just a garbage PR statement. So in other words, they don't really care about the price difference. It's probably intentional, and I think it's absolutely disgusting. I'm sure you do too. The reason I'm telling you about this is because you need to be careful where you shop. Don't assume that one store is going to have the same price as another store just because they have the same name. You may be being upcharged because of your zip code or the neighborhood you live in, and that is not right at all. Now, in other news, Congress is considering a new bill called the Deposit Act. That's an acronym, of course. The actual title is the Delivering Essential Protection Opportunity and Security for Tenants Act. Now, this act would expand the Section 8 voucher program and the home investment partnership programs offered by HUD so that low-income renters can get help with security deposits as well. In other news, tech companies have claimed that generative AI could be the solution to the justice gap. According to reports, over 93% of low-income Americans do not get help with their legal issues, probably because they can't afford it. So companies like Do Not Pay and Upsolve are trying to introduce new tools and AI-driven legal chatbots that can help. But many states have threatened to shut them down because that would be an unauthorized practice of law. However, that being said, ChatGPT-4 has recently scored in the 90th percentile on the Uniform Bar Examination. So I want to know, what do you think? Would you use AI for legal services? I really want to know your thoughts on this. I also recently read that about 48 million Americans, or about 14% of all Americans, in other words, struggle with some degree of hearing loss. Statistically, it's going to affect 1 out of 5 men and 1 out of 8 women, and that is a lot. So if this describes you, if you're struggling with hearing loss, please don't hesitate to call our sponsors at Care Connect USA. They have a hearing aid relief line at 888-258-5305. This line is staffed by experts who are familiar with all the different types of hearing aid assistance programs and payment programs so that you can get the help that you need. Again, that number is 888-258-5305 to get help with hearing aids. Now, for more updates on what's going on nationwide, check out our recent EBT update. We talked about a lot of changes to the SNAP food stamps program that are happening right now, but I don't want to repeat that all here because those of you who watch all of our videos have already seen that, and I don't want to bore you to death. So if you haven't seen that already, please go watch it because there's a lot of good information in there, especially for low-income seniors. Now, before I list all of the states that I'm going to cover in the local news section, I want to let you know that I do know some of you are very frustrated that you don't hear your state very often. I do my best to find every single state every week, but when I do these, I'm only looking at the news headlines for the last 7 days. So these weekly live updates aren't going to talk about programs that already exist. To find those, you will need to watch our other videos. These weekly updates are only for new programs or programs with new updates that you need to know right now. So anyway, in this video, we're going to cover the following areas: Arizona, California, Colorado, Hawaii, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Missouri, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Texas, and Washington, D.C. Okay, let's get going. Residents in Arizona, California, Nevada, Oregon, and Texas may benefit from a new initiative by RIP Medical Debt, RIP Medical Debt. A sizable donation from Scan and Care Oregon has allowed that company to buy and eliminate $110 million in medical debt for residents of those states. So if you're affected, you may receive a letter in the mail saying that your medical debt was eliminated by RIP Medical Debt, so keep an eye out for that. In California, the Sonoma County Water Agency will reduce their sanitation rates by half for qualified low-income property owners. You must own your home and live in it in order to qualify. Applications for that are due by July 10th and must be renewed every single year. In Colorado, the state is getting ready to launch the largest statewide e-bike rebate program. This program will provide a $1,100 discount on an e-bike for any Colorado resident who earns less than 80% of the area median income. If you make between 80 and 100% of the area median income, you can still get a rebate, but it'll only be $500 instead. Those who qualify can also get $100 off their purchase of a bike helmet and lock as well. Applications for that will open in August. Also in Colorado, the Denver City Council has approved new low-income housing projects for homeless families and seniors in the area. These include the Warren Village 3 apartments, the All Saints apartments, and the Montbello Freshlow complex. A total of 249 new apartments will be created through these programs. In Hawaii, the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher waitlist is opening up again. Applications will be accepted online starting at 8:30 a.m. on June 26th. Applications will only be open for 2 days, so you need to make sure that you apply right away. The application window will close on June 28th at 4:30 p.m. You can apply for free online at waitlistcheck.com/HI004, according to the county's news release. Only one application per household is allowed, and again, those applications are only open for 2 days, so act fast. Also in Hawaii, applications are open for the Low Income Energy Credit Assistance Program as well. The deadline for those applications is June 30th at 4:30 p.m. You can apply online at meoinc.org. In Illinois, the Cook County State Attorney's Office has announced that it will no longer object to waiving court fees for low-income defendants. The office has also said that it will not prosecute cases involving driving with a suspended license either. Representatives from the office pointed out that these financial burdens often make poverty much worse, which is why they are making these changes. In Indiana, a new 122-unit affordable housing complex is coming to Indianapolis. The complex will be built where the Central State Hospital used to be. There will be 2- and 3-bedroom apartments available there, and the most expensive unit will be $1,400 a month. Families must make 60% of the area median income or less in order to qualify. That's going to be about $55,000 a year for a family of 4, just so you know. In Illinois, the Dubuque Salvation Army is giving away fans for low-income residents who need help battling the heat. If you need assistance, please contact them to see if they have any available. I don't know how many there were to start with, so I don't know when they're going to run out. New grants were also given to organizations that help low-income Iowa residents find affordable homes. These grants were given to 18 different nonprofit organizations, including Anawim Housing, Iowa Homeless Youth Centers, and the Oak Ridge Neighborhood, and the Iowa Primary Health Centers. Also in Iowa, applications are open for Students First ESA accounts. The application period for the 2023-2024 school year will continue until June 30th. So you'll need to apply by then if you want to use this for your kids. As far as I can tell, basically the state has passed a school choice law. So if you enroll your eligible students in an accredited non-public school, you can receive an amount equal to what the state would pay per student at a public school that year. And then that money is put in one of these ESA accounts so that you can use it to pay tuition fees and other qualified education expenses. Applications for that can be found at educateiowa.gov. Sorry, I'm starting to get a migraine, which is why I'm not doing so good now. In Kansas, Johnson County wants to pilot a property tax rebate program for seniors and disabled veterans. In this case, senior is defined as someone who is at least 65 years old. You would also have to meet income requirements, although it looks like some Social Security income would not be counted against you. The maximum refund would be about $200 per household, and the pilot program would only last a year, and then the county would have to make a decision about whether or not to continue that. If you live in Johnson County and you want to see this happen, please reach out to your Board of County Commissioners to express your support for that new initiative. In Louisiana, a Baton Rouge woman has launched an affordable summer camp for children between the ages of 5 and 12. The cost is $50 per week per child, which is actually really low. According to local news provider WBRZ, you can register your child by calling 225-255-1319. In Massachusetts, the state has created an emergency shelter at the Days Inn Hotel in Greenfield. This is available for low-income families with children under age 21, as well as pregnant women. There are 50 rooms available there. I didn't know this before, but apparently Massachusetts is the only state in the country that has a right to shelter law, which means that eligible low-income families have the right to shelter. That's why the emergency shelter program is focused on helping people, and that's why they're doing this in the hotels and things. This particular one appears to be managed by the Housing and Livable Communities, so I would contact them if you need more information. In Missouri, the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Assistance Program is now available. Seniors can get $50 worth of free food vouchers from the Missouri Department of Agriculture. In Springfield, those vouchers are distributed by the Senior Age Area Agency on Aging. In other areas, you'll need to contact your local area agency on aging to get those. In New Jersey, an organization called New Standard Senior Living is hosting informational sessions about how to get affordable assisted living for seniors. These sessions will include a free lunch and a tour of that community. You can attend a session on any Wednesday in June between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. at 308 South Whitehorse Pike in Hamilton, New Jersey. Also in New Jersey, seniors in the Bayonne area can get free farmers market vouchers through the Bayonne Office on Aging starting on June 20th. The vouchers will be distributed on Tuesday the 20th and Wednesday the 21st between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And then if you can't make it on those days, distribution will continue every Tuesday between 10 and 2 while supplies last. In New York, the New York City Council has voted to pass a law that would have the city cover eye exams and eyeglasses for low-income residents. In this case, low income would be defined as having a household income that is 250% of the federal poverty level or less. The city believes that up to 1 million New Yorkers may be eligible for this program. The law will take effect in early December. Also, the New York Civil Liberties Union has accused the state of pushing foreclosures through the courts without making sure that property owners have an attorney. Now, state law there says that the courts have to assess whether or not a property owner can afford an attorney, and if they can't, they're supposed to appoint free legal representation because the foreclosure process is really confusing and obviously very high stakes. The NYCLU has found that the courts are skipping that step and putting low-income homeowners at greater risk of foreclosure. Hopefully, now that they're bringing this issue to light, the situation can be fixed. And remember, if you are threatened with foreclosure in New York, you need to make sure that you get the legal assistance that you are entitled to, because that is extremely important. In North Carolina, low-income homeowners in Greensboro can request a rebate through the Low-Income Homeowner Assistance Program. This program will give you a rebate for the difference between what you paid in 2022 for property taxes and what you paid in 2021 for property taxes. So if those taxes went up, you'll get a check for the difference. Sorry, I'm really not doing well right now. In order to be eligible, you must be a low-income homeowner, own a home in Greensboro, and you must have owned that home for the last 5 years. The home must have a tax value of less than $250,000, and you must meet income limits. If you are eligible, you can apply online. Applications are due June 20th, so please act right away. In Ohio, the Marysville Public Library will not be providing free lunches this summer. This is the first time in 7 years that the library will not serve those meals. However, families can still receive free help through the summer PEBT. If your student attends Marysville Exempted Village School District, you will need to fill out a PEBT application form on the school district website right away. In Pennsylvania, the State House has approved a property tax and rent subsidy for seniors and people with disabilities. The bill passed with an overwhelming majority, but it still needs to be approved by the state Senate. If this bill passes, seniors and people with disabilities could receive up to $1,000 through this program. The income limits will also be increased so that more people are eligible. The bill's sponsors estimate that almost 20,000 more Pennsylvania residents could be eligible with the expanded guidelines. Can you please stop moving? You're making my headache worse, darling, okay? In South Dakota, a new affordable housing complex is coming to Rapid City. The 21-acre district will include 180 new units for low-income residents. The complex will have a groundbreaking at the end of this month or next, and they expect the homes will be completed by December 2025. In Texas, the state legislature recently passed a bill that will allow low-income mothers to keep their Medicaid coverage for up to a year after childbirth or up to 6 months following a miscarriage. Also, qualifying families in Harris County may be able to receive $500 per month for 18 months through a new guaranteed income program. This one is called Uplift Harris. The program will provide benefits to up to 1,500 households. In order to be eligible, you must have an income that is at or below 200% of the federal poverty line. Families will be selected at random. I'm not entirely clear if you have to apply or if you'll be selected from people who already participate in certain community programs. It wasn't immediately clear. The program does hope to focus on residents from 10 specific zip codes in the Forest Acres, Acres Homes, South Park, East 6 Jensen, Sunnyside, Northgate, Greater 5th Ward, Sedagast, Gulfton, and Galena Park areas. The program is expected to begin sometime in September, and again, it will last for about 18 months. In Washington, D.C., anyone who qualifies for SNAP will soon be able to enjoy half-price fares from WMATA. About 377,000 people are expected to qualify for that discount. And I need to stop now because I'm not feeling very well. Please don't forget to check out our June EBT update if you haven't already seen that. There's some great news in there for low-income seniors. And there's some other news bits that we weren't able to cover here in this video